Welcome, guys, to the Premier League show. I'm Carson Badley. I'm going solo this evening. John David is out at the moment, so it will just be me tonight. But I want to start off by saying is that today was a freaking disgrace. As a Manchester United fan, it's a freaking disgrace what happened today. And to be honest with you, it just shows we just need to open up the checkbook and get some more transfers in, honestly. And I think it was a perfect display of what Woodward and the Glazers need to do to be able to get this transfer window going. And signing Donny van de Beek was good. It's good squad depth for the bench, but not as a starter. He's not going to be a full-time starter. I mean, I think Matic has that covered. But what we saw today was McTominay filling that CDM position, and we saw Fosu Mensah filling Wan-Bissaka's position, and we still saw Bruno Fernandes and Pogba going to the wings and supporting the wings. And I think the wings, personally, I think the wings can take care of themselves. I think if Shaw's there to support Rashford, and I think if Fosu Mensah is there to support Don James or whoever's on the wing, Greenwood, then they really don't need any support. If they keep center, and that's where they can put the through balls and the chances into the box, so Martial and Gallo can take the chances and score. Sure, take a shot from distance if you have the space, but Crystal Palace today, they did not give us the space to take those large shots today. So for me, it was a shambles. It was an absolute disgrace what happened today. Victor Lindelof was appalling today. And the VAR decision with the De Gea coming off his line, what can he do? It's VAR. If he's barely off the line, you got to give it to. I think that's the right call. It's unfortunate. He made a great save from Jordan Ayew's penalty take, but if you're off the line, you're off the line. It's not an either or. So there's no question about that. It's just unfortunate to see that today. So Crystal Palace deserved the win today, but it's a bad start to the season. For me, I predicted that we would win 2-1. And for me, that's just that's the way it went the last time. We conceded again, which I knew I saw that coming, but I didn't know when it was going to happen. So to go 1-0 down wasn't a big deal. I still thought that we could get back into the match. So 3-1 is the final score. Donny van de Beek is the only positive is that he got his debut goal, and that's it. It fell to him, on a cross, and he hit it in. So that's one chance created that we did not, create for the whole game. So, very, very appalling performance. Now, there were pictures. I was following my Twitter feed today, and Ed Woodward was sitting on the bench or sitting in the stands, watching the match. And hopefully Solskjaer has shown him that you need to open up your checkbook and get a center back. We were going for a center back, and then ESPN FC were like, well, Solskjaer wants Upamecano from RB Leipzig, and it's like, he just signed another contract with RB Leipzig and has a release clause, but even then, I don't think even United would even go for that at this moment in time. So it's you're late. You're late to the party, United. So that's the one, center back that we would want. But Lindelof is not even going to do a solid job. And the only other center back that's in consideration for Lindelof's spot is Tuanzebe, but he's still injured. So he's been injured for over a year. And even if he gets cleared back to play, it would take him probably about, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks just to get back to form, and play a solid center back role, because he's been out for so long, So This is my issue. We were in for Alex Telles. We had personal terms agreed with Porto, according to a well-known Portuguese reporter, and now Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that as well. So you know, do we need a left back? Sure, it's good for squad depth. We can drop somebody for that and shift Brandon Williams over to the right back side to support Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But that's good for squad depth, and I think that's good. But if we can't go for a center back, I think we're dead in the water. I think Lindelof is pretty inconsistent. If he, in the next few games that we have Brighton next Saturday, and then we have this stupid third round fixture at Tuesday against Luton Town. So we'll take care of that. I have no issues with that. We're going to take care of that. And then we have Brighton next Saturday. And then I don't know what else we have. But these next few games are going to be crucial for Lindelof because, whether he gets in form or not is going to be a question in and of itself. Now, Lindelof's been decent, but my big question is about the midfield. I think I've heard it said that, if you lose the midfield, you lose the game. It's that simple. I think it's really that simple. So it was really weird for McTominay to start in that CDM role. And I think Solskjaer thought, we need to get the boy some training into that position because he may be a well-suitable backup for Fred or, Matic. And I get that, but this is a first game. And if Fred played well against Sevilla in the Europa League, then I think he deserves to start. Matic was benched that game, but I think Fred showed the aggressiveness in that Sevilla match to be able to fit that CDM position and be a support role for Pogba and Fernandes. So, that was an odd thing for me. I think the top two players today would be Donny van de Beek and David De Gea. Both were superb today. And, it's an unfortunate loss for us, but we need to get back in gear. And Woodward and the Glazers need to open up the checkbook. And I think that's the biggest thing that we need to talk about. As far as other Premier League stuff, that's enough for my rant. But as far as other Premier League stuff goes and matches fixtures or whatever, Manchester City play Wolves tomorrow. I've had it. I think both teams will play well, and I think that's why they'll draw 2-2. They're very two evenly matched teams, I think. And if City does win it, they get the last minute goal 3-2. I think it's either 2-2 or 3-2. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. So that'll be interesting from John David's perspective to watch that match tomorrow. As far as today was an interesting sort of day besides United losing to Crystal Palace. I think Everton had a higher scoring game because of West Brom. One of their midfielders, I think, got a red card for, putting a finger in one of the Evertonians' eyes or whatever. So that was a send-off before halftime. And so that just put it down for Everton, and the Evertonians got in big 5-2 today. So that was a big win for Everton and Ancelotti's side. As far as the Leeds and Fulham game, they, I think both defenses were crap, but I think it was also a good match to see a high-scoring game as well. It was very competitive as two, newly promoted championship sides to get in some good playing, good playing experience into the Premiership. So I think Leeds deserve the win. I really do. They're the better side, I feel like, and Fulham, I think, in my predictions last video, I think Fulham, deserve, to be relegated at the end of the season. I mean, we'll see how competitive they get, but if they get to be like what West Brom were like today, then I don't see them standing a chance in the Premier League. So we'll see what happens, but I think Fulham are going to get relegated, but Leeds may stay up. Just depends on where we're at. So Arsenal played well today as well. They beat West Ham 2-1. another good performance by Arteta's men. I think Arsenal are going to be a fighting force for the 6th and 5th positions this year. Just depends on, how good, United are, and, how Lampard does his, formations and tactics with, 6 or 7 players signed, this transfer window. So, we'll see what happens, but I think Arsenal have a good chance of getting in there. If we're going to struggle for 4th, it's going to be a fight too. So, I mean, that's all I've got to say about that. One thing I would say is that Tottenham play tomorrow, I think, and so they just signed was it Gareth Bale back to their club. So, and they signed Sergio Reguilon from Real Madrid. So both players from Real Madrid. But the unfortunate thing is that Tottenham agree. Manchester United were in for Reguilon, but there was a buyback clause attached to that. It's basically an expensive loan if you don't know what a buyback clause is. And so basically a certain amount of time is allotted to, the player, whatever the contract states, whether that's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever. And then when that time's up, they come back to Real Madrid or wherever club that they came from. And so Man United were like, we're not doing that because he's using it as a stepping stone, not for a career. He wanted us to build a career at Real Madrid. So why do you want to go out is the bigger question. So I think Tellez is the better option. If we can't get a center back in, which is unfortunate, we might have to deal with Lindelof for a little bit, for at least, the first half of the season until the January transfer window opens. And if we can't get a center back in this transfer window, the summer transfer window, then I think it's going to be a big thing for us to get a center back in January. I really do. Because, Lindelof, we're not going to be able to survive without Lindelof. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. So it's unfortunate, but at the same time, we have to get better. We have to get back to our winning days. And I think the best way to do that is to solve that with transfers, obviously. And so if we can get squad depth, so Alex Tellez, but at the same time, I will say this, personal terms mean nothing. I mean, we agreed personal terms with Jadon Sancho, but we haven't signed him yet. And we agreed personal terms with Sergio Reguilon, and Tottenham signed him. So thus, I mean, the logic says that personal terms don't really mean anything. It just means that he's agreed to the wages and the term of the contract, length. That's all that means, which is fine. But, you have PSG just sitting over here for Tellez, just saying, like, waiting, for to swoop in front of us, and we have a history in the transfer window to back out when there's competition. See, right now, Jadon Sancho doesn't have any competition because most clubs are broke and need to sell players because of the coronavirus, right? So you are ignorant or naive to think that Manchester United will get Jadon Sancho next year. You're completely naive because other people are going to be competing for Jadon Sancho because he's a 20-year-old that is a fantastic player and fantastic winger. He's been playing fantastic against, these, bottom, tier, clubs in the Bundesliga with Borussia Dortmund. And, it really is a freaking, it's a freaking struggle in the transfer window for United, though. It's like pulling teeth, basically. The whole fan base is screaming out, we want this player. We want this player. He's a good fit. Let's look into him. And then all the links get out. We're linked to, since we're such a big club, that we're going to get linked to all these players. And that is the frustrating thing. That is the most frustrating thing of it all, is that you're a massive club. You make millions of billions of dollars. And because you're so massive and you make so many merchandise sales and you have so many subscriptions on MUTV, but you can't do the basic and the simple business to make your team better. It doesn't make any sense to me. So that's where we're at right now. So the ideal thing is that we waited all transfer window for Bruno. We got him at the tail end. We suffered the loss against Burnley for that transfer to save just a little bit of money. And yet we need squad depth, and we need to sell players, and we need to get Jadon Sancho. It's basically it. In terms of other transfer news, so we have Gareth Bale and Sergio Reguilon going to Tottenham Hotspur. And also we have Liverpool signing a couple of two players. Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich is going to Liverpool, is already signed. Don't know what the length of the contract is, but he's already signed with Liverpool, as well as Diogo Jota from Wolverhampton Wanderers. So those are two players that are going to create a massive squad depth for them, because, they might be, they're just going to only get better. And if I'm United, which I am, a United fan, we have a gap to close on Liverpool, because we have a history together, and we need to get into that top tier race for that top spot for the Premiership. So, and City is going to be there, and Chelsea is going to be there, and City have made two signings. They made Fernan Torres and Nathan Ake from Bournemouth, and then Chelsea have been playing bloody FIFA career mode out here, signing 6 or 7 players, and so they're going to be competition. But thing is, Frank Lampard may fall apart with that, because he doesn't know where to put everybody. He doesn't know how all the players work in all these different situations. As far as City, they're still looking at Koulibaly. Napoli and City don't have really excellent, terms as far as buddy friendship, like corporate friendship, like type of thing. They're not really good in terms with that. So it might be even harder to pay for Koulibaly. He's older. He's the most you're going to get. You're not trying to build a team with Koulibaly. If you're going to buy Koulibaly, you're going to buy him for 90 or so euros or whatever, and then he's probably going to only be there for 2 years, and then 2 or 3 years, and then you're going to have to sell him again. So it's basically an instant fix. He could secure that, take the spot of Otamendi and keep Laporte there, and then have a solid back line with that. So I mean, we were linked to Koulibaly early in the transfer window, but that ship has sailed, and we need to build a team, and Koulibaly is too old for that. He's, I think, 29 or 30 or something like that. He's just too old. So that's something that concerns me a little bit. Let's see if I've missed anything else. Yeah, I don't think I've missed anything else, but yeah, if y'all have any questions about, United or City, Jadon Sancho, or any of the transfer window updates, I'll try my best to keep you informed. And John David can do the best he can to keep you informed. We'll put our socials in the link or linked up in the video description for you guys. But this is for United. This has got to change. Honestly, if you're an outsider looking in, you're pretty much happy that United are falling apart. Because it gives you a better chance to get into top 4 and secure a top 4 position for next year. But also on the other side of the spectrum, it's they're falling apart, but y'all need massive, massive improvement. And I hope that game, the Crystal Palace game, showed Woodward and the Glazers that, we need massive improvements. And just because we have Champions League football does not mean, just because you get your sponsorships from Adidas or Chevrolet or Kohler or all this stuff, all these Champions League, getting Champions League, just because you get money doesn't mean, you can save that, but that means you need to open up your checkbook as a result of that money. I specifically told myself and told other people on Twitter too, if we don't get, Champions League football, we wouldn't get Sancho. We would have a chance of getting Sancho from Dortmund. But if we got Champions League football, it would bring a bargaining chip to the table. Hey, we're trying to build a team here, Sancho. Come back to the Premiership. And so I think that's the biggest bargaining chip we have. We had personal terms agreed with Dortmund and Sancho, and they're not a problem. But Jan-Arne Fjørtoft and Fabrizio Romano and other top-tier journalists are saying that they've got to pay the 120 million euro or it's no deal. It's that simple. Now, there are alternatives out there for Sancho, but they're not as consistent as Jadon Sancho. They're just not. We're talking about Ismail Sarr from Watford. He's a decent player, but he's not at the caliber of Jadon Sancho and what his stats compare. I wish I had the stats in front of me so I could show you, but he's just not at that caliber. He's just not. And so we need Sancho in for sure to secure that right wing position. James will bench. If we get Sancho, that's what's going to happen. Daniel James is going to be put on the bench. He may be put out for a Carabao Cup game or an FA Cup game that are in the second or third round, fourth rounds of those cup games. But I could definitely see if we get Sancho at the tail end of this transfer window, which is, I think, highly likely, because we did it with Bruno Fernandes. He was a huge signing for us. Then I think Daniel James will go on loan. I really do. And in other news, James Garner from us, he was one of the, he's in the first team, but he was in the U23s, but we just sent him on loan to Watford to get first team football. And I think that was the right move for him. But what we need to do now is you saw today, I don't know if you didn't watch the game today, Lingard, Pereira, and Mata were not on the bench. Nowhere to be found. So hopefully that's a signal that there might be some movement as to, maybe they're thinking, if I'm not going to get first team football, maybe I can get first team football somewhere else and build my career somewhere else, because there's United, there's a certain caliber of football you have to live up to. There's a certain standard that you have to live up to because of the history that we have. And if you don't fit that bill, then you can leave. I'm sorry, but we have a certain standard that we have to uphold, and I'm sorry, but get out. It's just that easy. Now, some people have been wanting me to address the goalkeeping situation with Dean Henderson coming back from Sheffield United off loan to compete with De Gea. I think the biggest reason for that is because De Gea messed up over lockdown. And, he got inconsistent, got out of form, made some pitiful errors. And I think the competition may strengthen him. And today it did. It really, he can't. There was one big save he had to make. He made the goalkeeping save, but he was like maybe an inch or two off his line. Still a save in my book. He made an excellent save. Jordan Ayew cut back off the left and had a shot, and De Gea saved that with one palm. Excellent save. If De Gea does what he did today, I don't really have an issue with De Gea starting a goal, which means that Henderson will only start in the cup games. So I'm sorry, but if De Gea messes up once, Henderson's getting in. Henderson's starting. So I don't know how you feel about that competition. Let me know in the comments below what you think about that, because that competition can be, good in some aspects because it keeps De Gea sharp, but it could ruin Henderson's career by sitting on the bench and only playing cup games. Because Romero, was on that bench for forever. I followed United. I've been following United probably for the past, 7 or so years. And, ever since then, I've seen, Romero on that bench, and De Gea as the number one. So, it's difficult to say, but, it's harsh, but, Romero's part of the deadwood now. What can you do about that? So, it's unfortunate what the situation is right there, but we can easily sell Romero back to Argentina, or along with a Rojo package, because Rojo's Argentinian. So I think we can ship them off and then get Lingard and Mata and Pereira to get out, and then get some money for them. That would provide support for the the payment of Jadon Sancho, and if we need be Alex Telles or some other left back that we need. But Fabrizio Romano, one of the top tier journalists at Sky Sports, has told his people on Twitter that United are going to be signing a right winger and a left back. We just don't know which ones yet. So you can speculate. You can think of any possible scenario at which we could get. Now, if we sign Telles and we sign Ismail Sarr from Watford, I'm sorry, but get out. Get out. You led us up a 3 or 4 week storm of hyping up this deal for Jadon Sancho, and then you're just going to drop out because, we're going to hide behind COVID. COVID is no longer a valid excuse, because Manchester City have signed 2 players. Liverpool have signed 2 players. And fixing to sell one. They're probably going to sell Wijnaldum, and Thiago is going to replace that position. Chelsea have bought 6 or 7, something like that, because they had a transfer ban. That's why they have so much money. But that's the deal. So COVID is no longer a valid excuse for United. It's about saving the penny. It's basically what it's about. So I hope this helps y'all. I think that's it for the video. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're trying to get to at least probably 10 or so likes on the video. So hopefully that will go up as soon as possible. Thank you so much for enjoying this video, and I hope it's been helpful for y'all as during this time. I'll speak to you soon.